HarperCollins presents Miss Caroline Bingley, Private Detective, by Kelly Gardiner and Sharmini Kumar. Read by Shaheen Khan. Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single lady in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a husband. Nonsense, Miss Caroline Bingley muttered into her empty teacup, banishing the thought from her mind. I am in want of nothing. One might admit to a certain restlessness, she reflected, but that was surely the result of being veritably marooned in Derbyshire at present. She had promised to spend an entire month with her brother, Charles, and his wife, to admire their new estate. She adored them both, but after weeks of country dances, unvarying society, and conversation devoted utterly to window furnishings and nursery arrangements, one was bound to become slightly— "I beg your pardon?" She looked up at Jane. "Oh, nothing. More tea?" "Thank you, yes." It had snowed overnight, and the terrace beyond the window was blanketed in pure white, a pleasing prospect, at least for those tucked up indoors with a merrily blazing fire. Caroline was genuinely delighted for her brother, who gazed about him, beaming, in evident enjoyment of his new house, its expansive grounds, and the prospect of a hunt as soon as the weather cleared. "No riding out today," said Charles. "I should think there's little chance of it this week. My steward—" He uttered the words with obvious relish, never having had need of an estate steward before. "Tells me this breeze is likely to lift into an almighty bluster by evening." "Shall you be calling at Pemberley this morning?" asked Caroline. She had at first been unsure of the wisdom of Charles settling quite so close to the grand estate of his particular friend Mr. Darcy. The marriages of the two men to Jane and Elizabeth Bennet made the couples inseparable, and on occasion their company rather stifling. But the connection had also drawn her closer to Mr. Darcy's young sister, Georgiana, and the two women had become firm friends. "It is some days since you saw Mr. and Mrs. Darcy," she added. "Perhaps if the snow melts a little, we might both venture out. I do so wish to call on Georgiana. She seemed out of sorts when I saw her last." "I doubt it will be possible," said Jane, glancing at the lumpy snow where the terrace ought to be, and the distant trees, their bare branches bending before the wind. "But never mind. There is a great deal to do in the conservatory, and this afternoon I shall have to see to the curtains in the blue room." "We might try later," said Charles, who was nearly as weary of discussing drapes as his sister. "I will have the driveway cleared." Before he could ring for a footman, one appeared in the doorway. "A letter for Miss Bingley," he announced. "Mail?" Charles asked. "In this weather?" "A man from Pemberley delivered it just now, sir." "Excellent," said Charles. "There may be hope for some recreation after all." Caroline slid the letter from the tray and tore it open. She knew only too well who had scribbled her name on it. The note was hastily written and blotted, inside and out, the ink smudged badly. Charles and Jane watched closely as Caroline read it. "My dearest Caroline," it read, in Georgiana's distinctive hand. "You will, I'm sure, not blame me for what I have done, and see that it is for the best. Indeed, it is necessary. I trust that I can rely on your secrecy. By the time you read this, I will be on the coach to London." Caroline gasped, then clapped her hand over her mouth. "Is something amiss?" asked Jane. "Is Georgiana ill?" "It is nothing," Caroline said hastily. I put too much sugar in my tea, that is all." Her family were too well-mannered to question her further, and she continued to read her letter while Jane poured her a fresh cup of tea. "I have told my brother and Elizabeth that I will stay with you for some time. In my note I said that I would send for my clothes later, and so I dare say they will be sent to you today. I will write from town to tell you where to direct them. My brother has
Sample complete. Ready to continue?